Yeah, no one knows what the future of work will look like in 5 years' time, and everyone are definitely looking for a greener pasture, a good job opportunity. Today we'll be talking about migration and telemigration in the gig economy. Yes, I know some of us are hearing this for the first time, the gig economy, but yes, the question to ask ourselves is, do we need to JAPA, do we need to migrate to another country to get a good job opportunity, or we need to stay back here in our country? So today I have in the studio a global talent professional who will be giving us the insight. We'll be dissecting what the gig economy is all about and what we can do as Nigerians to get that good paying job. In person of, say, Temitope Olukunle. So nice to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you this morning.
Absolutely. It's so great to be here.
Yeah. Now, as a global talent professional, first I want to ask you, what is your job description?
Yes.
A global talent professional.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me once again.
You're welcome.
Such a privilege to be on the Kaftan TV. So as a global talent consultant, I'm an HR professional, right? Okay. And an HR in tech, to be very specific, because my work is really about talent development, talent sourcing, and in the tech space. Okay. And because it is not just for the local brands and the organizations within the country, I do that for the international brands. I've had the privilege over the last 2 years to work with a lot of global brands that are coming into Africa, specifically West Africa and Nigeria. Yeah. So a lot of eyes are coming into Africa because of the incredible capacities of African talent. Yeah. And so it's a point of leverage, to leverage on bridging the gap between African talent, leveraging on the capacities, and then assessing opportunities, the global opportunities that are coming. So I stand at the middle point, interfacing between the international brands coming into Africa and the African talent, or Nigerian talent in this case. So that's what I do.
Now let's talk about the gig economy as well. When we talk about gig economy, I'm very sure 50% of people watching us right now don't know what it means, or some just have a surface idea of what it means. Can you please shed more light on what gig economy means?
Awesome, thank you so much. So we're in a new economy, and this economy came in as a result of the internet penetration, right? The digital evolution. I studied geography in my first degree, and as a geography student, we knew about spaces, about borders, and we knew about boundaries for nation state. But over the last couple of years, we understand that it's a new economy right now. It's a borderless economy, where from whatever corner or whatever part of the world you are in, you can operate globally. You could be in a corner in Lagos, Nigeria, and you can have clients, you can have clientele, you can work with organizations in Texas, Dallas, right? And so that is the borderless economy. What then is the gig economy? Yeah. The gig economy itself is the leverage, right, in this borderless economy, where you can access opportunities. There are so many gig platforms where African talent, Nigerian talent, people like us go and position ourselves to access opportunities that are short-term, working with multiple clients at the same time. We call them gigs. So you are either called a freelancer, you could be called an independent contractor, you're either a consultant in my case, or you are a gig worker, basically. So there are platforms like that that are emerging to solve the chronic skill shortages all across the world, right? And so people go there to position in the gig economy as a gig worker to assess these opportunities and earn per contract, per hour, or fixed term. That's it in simple terms.
Wow, because this you're saying now is actually opening my eye to a lot of things. What you're saying now is that it's very possible for you to be in this country and you're working for a company outside Nigeria. You could be working for like maybe a company in the US, UK, and you'll be paid per contract, like
or per hour,
or something like that. Okay, so now I want you to shed more light on it, because I believe that a lot of people still have that mindset that I'm sure that if I leave this country, I will make it anywhere I go to. Yes. How can we then convince people that you don't have to leave your country before your skills will be appreciated?
Awesome. I think that's a fantastic question. And to be honest, my call on my mission is not necessarily to convince people not to migrate or not to move, because people move for different reasons. Yes. The reality of our economy people make decisions that are good for them. People move for sanity. People move for security. People move for safety. I call them the 3 S of JAPA. Sanity, safety, and security. So whether for financial gain, improvements, future of their children, new job opportunities, marriage, they all fall under these 3 categories. So people move for different reasons. It's all right. However, the question is, a lot of people who are moving without a strong why. They don't know why they are moving. It is because it is becoming the norm. They want to access opportunities that are new. However, a lizard in Nigeria does not suddenly become an alligator in the United States. So if you are here in Nigeria, you don't have the capacity to attract certain global brands. It doesn't mean automatically when you get there it's going to happen. Yes, they have the structured system. They have a system that is, there's an accountability. They are more, all of these things that we see that is going on in our own economy and country. So we don't want to really get into that. But let me speak about, the impact of that on business. Then I move to Telemigration itself, because JAPA is really about migration. People moving, when people moving their brain, moving their skills, and they're leaving the country, moving literally, physically out of the country. For me, I think that businesses over time, we've been as business owners have been looking for ready-made talent to come and build our business. But right now, ready-made talent are also looking for ready-made opportunities.
Yes.
So the people we have failed to develop are the ones left with our businesses. So the people who are ready-made talent are seeing opportunities that are ready-made. They move for that. So the consequences on the business owners who have refused to build their people. So the way forward for that is talent acquisition and building a pipeline and learning and development for the people that are remaining. Because to be honest, we can't really convince people to stay if they don't see the reason to stay.
Yes.
So what are those? Okay.
I really want to ask, because I know that a lot of people I feel like 9-to-5 job is not even enough to sustain a family. Some will feel like, no, I need other sources of income to be able to survive in this economy that we are. Now I want you to tell us what are those things? Okay, will I say, because I wouldn't want you to mention names of all these gig platforms,
okay.
but I'd like you to give us like an instance, example, how people can actually tap into this opportunity.
Awesome. So for me, I'm going to share a little bit of my story of how I started tapping into the opportunities. And I've trained over 1,000 people. Okay. I have a community where, we also share these opportunities with them and all of that. People think this thing is so far-fetched. And a lot of people also say, if you're not a tech talent, maybe you might not even have access to this opportunity. So the question is, the pandemic came and disrupted the future of work.
Exactly.
I say a lot that the future of work is technology. And it doesn't mean you have to be a tech person. You have to be a programmer, a software developer. No. So I started by, being a virtual assistant. Okay. In my actual job, I was a vice president, VP operations and administration, and HR. But in my gig work, I was working as an administrator, a virtual assistant. Right? So if you look at it, it looks like, oh, that role is beneath you.
Exactly.
You're at a VP level. Why are you doing that? So that is one of the issues that people don't understand, that you grow in levels. As a gig worker, these are global brands. All these titles we're using in Nigeria sometimes, the actual work that you are doing is what they are concerned about. Can you do it? Can you deliver? The most important thing is you can deliver on the job. So looking at the job descriptions, can you actually do this job regardless of whatever they've called it? And you'll be shocked that even with the title of a virtual assistant, you are overseeing operations, overseeing administration, you are getting into HR, you are also moving into digital marketing. Right. So I think the first thing for me, that's why I always say that for people to start, you need clarity. What is going on online? What is going on right now? Where is your field? What is the next level of your field? What is going on in the future of work in your field? I say this a lot, and I like to use the customer service, even as an HR professionals also need to understand the future of work. Yes. The best talent to work in your business will not necessarily be by your door. Your model should be open to remote first, freelance first opportunities. People that can work and do the job for you might not be in the same country, the same state that you are. And that is the energy of gig economy. It's the energy of change. It's the energy of the future. That our arms are wide open and we understand what is going on in the global economy. And we're rightly positioned and taking advantage of it. So what I think is clarity for talent. If you're listening to me and you're a talent, have an understanding of what your field is. And you also have to be able to tell yourself the truth. If you think that the current field that you're in will not enable you position online, and for you, you really want to leverage on the gig economy, then learn something.
Something new.
Learn something new. Go for skills acquisitions. Skills, very critical. So for me, I think that is how to start. And I'm not going to mention the platforms. And, I've said this before. People can do research. You can do research. Understand the one that favors, because there are some that favors people in the design space.
Yes.
There are some that favor almost everybody. There are some that favor tech talent. You want to do there are over 100 of them. That's the honest truth.
Platforms,
There are
right?
platforms, over 100 platforms that you can leverage on. So you want to do some research. But I tell you, skill is fundamental among all of them.
Honestly, we've started seeing skill as being fundamental, but people still don't believe in this online space. Some feel, oh, that's when I'll start. Now you tell me to go and bring one person, and from one person to pay $100,000,
to pay
$100,000, and everybody seems to not so believe in this thing. So what are the advantages of these things? You want to sell this thing to people. What are the advantages? What do I stand to gain? Don't tell me I started a fish, but look at me now, I own a fish pond. We don't want to hear things like people have been duped with those lines. So what are the advantages of the gig economy?
Okay, so I mean, to address some of the things that you've said, first, the gig economy is, and freelancing or working online is like you getting a job and you are working remotely.
Okay.
Right. So this is not things like network marketing or affiliate marketing or multi-level marketing where bring one person to bring one person. No. You look for your job, you get the job, you do your job online, and they pay you.
Yes.
It's pretty much straightforward. You're not bringing anybody to bring anybody. They're not paying me to do all of these things that I'm doing. Nobody is paying me. I'm not earning from it. Right? But my passion and my mission is to focus and enlighten African talent, Nigerian talent, upwardly mobile entrepreneurs to take advantage of the future of work, the gig economy, the human cloud, because it has literally changed my life. So you don't have to pay me. Go learn it yourself and be positioned. Let your family be better. Let your pocket be better. You know, have the drive to go and pursue your dream. And you know how it works. With results, you are able to speak convincingly.
Yes.
You know, if I was able, when I heard about the gig economy as well, you know, especially 2020, you know, the pandemic came, people were working from home. I used to have that mindset as well. I always knew I wanted to earn in foreign currencies. I wanted to earn in dollars. And there are so many ways to earn in foreign currencies online right now. And I thought, okay, maybe I should go and learn Forex. You know, I lost a lot of money first. I said, okay, this is not my calling. This is not my line. And then I said, okay, you know what? I have a skill. And you know, when we talk about the gig economy or borderlessness itself, it's about using your skill to penetrate other cultures, right?
Yes.
That's your expertise and experience and your professionalism. You can take it global. I've had the privilege to work with over 7 international clients since I started without leaving the country. And from one of the clients, I've had the privilege to work with over 28 brands from one of the clients to recruit for them in Africa. So if I add all of that together, I've worked with over 30-something international global brands. I would never have had that privilege if I'm within the Nigerian ecosystem.
Yes.
So for me, the results show that, okay, if I could earn $200 coupled with my salary, and that $200, I increased my earning rate to $600 without having to look for 2 people to bring 2 people, or, you know, having to force people. I'm working using my skills, my experience and professionalism, my expertise to earn money. What is stopping me from increasing it to $1,000? From there, increase it further. That is the growth strategy. So it works, and other people who are leveraging on that works. It doesn't mean there are no challenges. Just like a typical job here, we have people who are earning maybe 50,000 naira. For them, they know that they have outgrown that season in their life. They want to start earning more. You know, they see their colleagues elsewhere earning. It doesn't mean that job is going to find you on your seat. You have to go out and look for it. You have to position online your LinkedIn profile, your CV. If you have to upgrade your skills, if you have to join association, professional bodies, go for certifications, that is what is required. So it's the same thing with the gig economy. It's a career, and don't forget, this is even a global career. You are building a global career from your corner in Ajangbadi. You are building a borderless career. So it requires a lot of professionalism as well. It's not a joke. It's not bring 2 people. No, that's not what it is. So nobody is scamming you. Where you can be scammed is when even you are greedy. I've seen where people see platform, they say, you know what, brings us so money and we'll be able to help you get how. No, it doesn't work that way. It's like a Ponzi scheme. So it doesn't work that way.
Okay, let's talk about those who want to embrace this gig economy, that actually wants to leverage your needs. And you know, if any organization outside the country wants to hire you, you know, maybe for 6 months, 3 months, short time, they'll need experienced people. They might say maybe you need to have like 5-10 years experience and all of that. So now, for someone who wants to like embrace this opportunity but do not have all these many years of experience, how can that person actually tap into this?
Awesome. So for me, I think that, you know, these things are in levels, right? There are entry-level opportunities online. There are mid-level opportunities in the gig economy, and there are expert-level opportunities in the gig economy. The reality is some of us who are experts sometimes take mid-level role, entry-level role in the gig economy, but they pay higher than the role, the supposed big role that you are doing here. So what do I mean? So, like I said, at the VP level, the job I was doing was more like a mid-level in the gig economy, but it was maybe times 3 of my VP level role in Nigeria. So in Nigerian populace, or the way they say it, who try to help. So at the end of the day, I feel like there are different opportunities for a lot of people. You just need to know your level per time and grow. Now, but if you're talking about people who are just coming out of school, who don't even have experience at all,
I want to go into
and they want to go into the gig economy, it's still about going for skill acquisition. Go and learn something. People are not coming to recruit. International brands are not coming into Nigeria because they love Nigeria. They're not doing us a favor. They're coming because there is skill somewhere.
Yes.
So if there is no skill somewhere, they're not going to dash you the money just because you're a person of black color.
Yeah.
No. So you go for skills. You go and learn something. After that, you can go for internships. Internships where you can learn. You can practice what you've learned. Boot camps. You can put to practice what you've learned. Because beyond learning, we learn more by doing. So you want to join organizations as an intern, apply for internships. If you have to do it for 6 months to build capacity, do it there. Because what that will do for you is it will legitimize what you've learned. It will help you to build credibility with what you've learned. So you can do it. Just learn what you have to learn first. Identify the space you want to go into. And then go for internship opportunities where you can practice it. You know what I think? There are some things they don't teach in the Nigerian universities. There are things you would not learn within the confines of a school. Education is different from schooling. So you have to educate. There are some soft skills that during that internship, you will understand what it means to be punctual. You have to come early. That's when you're in school or when you're learning, you might not understand that. Maybe you learn at your own pace. But when you're working somewhere, whether as an intern or as a full-time employee, 9 a.m. is the resumption time. You have to be there. Send an email to, you have to send it. Reply the email when they send it, you have to learn it. These little things are very fundamental. They are they are soft skills. They look like they are not the major thing, but they are very critical in retaining clients.
You said something that you don't have to be a tech person to actually embrace it. But how is it possible for you not to be into tech? Because all of these things is technology. And how can you do all of this without having a tech knowledge? And it's not everyone that wants to actually go into this actually have that tech skills. So how can you do without having these tech skills and still enjoy this opportunity?
Awesome. I think that's also very critical because a lot of people have held themselves back because they think that they do not have the required knowledge and they don't want to pivot into tech. And I like to use myself as an example all the time, right? That the future is technology. Let us agree on that. When we talk about the human cloud, the gig economy, they are all driven by technology itself. Where right now we're speaking to people are watching this live. It's due to the fact that we have all over the world. It's technology. So every work, every sector, every industry right now is driven by technology. So whatever you do, whether your work is, a customer service representative, whether for you it's administration or social media management, whether for you you're a sales expert, you still have to understand how to leverage on technology to aid your work. So now you don't have to go and learn core programming and coding. But what are the tools that are being used in your sector? What are the tools, the softwares, the applications that are being used in your space that can help your work be better?
Can you give an instance?
So for example, whether you're a customer service representative, there are things we call the CRM tools. So what are the CRM tools? Because if you're working, for example, I had a client once who was working in the bank here as a customer service professional in Nigeria. And so to pivot to begin to work in the gig economy as a freelancer or to position for global remote opportunities, the software they use in the bank here is not what they would use for you over there. It's not the same thing. Yes, you're in customer service, but even as a customer service representative, you can position as a customer service representative in another sector, not even in the banking sector. So what tools do they use? What are the CRM tools? The one your local bank is using here is not what they're using in the United States. You want to go online to search these things. These are global tools that you can learn. Are you an HR? We have communication tools, collaborative tools. So as an HR, I use Asana. I use tools like Confluence. A lot of tools like that people can research. Slack for communication, not WhatsApp. WhatsApp is for chatting. There are communication tools like Slack that are professional. So those things doesn't mean you are in tech, but you're leveraging technology to do your work. It's the future.
Now let's talk about the challenges of this field. Everything that has a good side will definitely have a bad side. What are the bad sides, the challenges, disadvantages of this field?
Awesome. Very correct. Everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage.
Definitely.
Well, and I love to talk about these challenges a lot. There are two parts to the challenges. On the talent side And of course, there is one that comes with the ecosystem, the environment that we found ourselves, the country, the society. And I think I'm going to start from that. The challenges will also be the things that are outside of your power sometimes. So things like your internet. You know, it's a major challenge for people. As a gig worker, you're working online. You need internet to work. And so if you have all of the options available, sometimes they still show you that they are who they are. As service providers, you don't have an end-to-end control over them. That is a challenge, right? Except you're able to settle down to identify, among all of these service providers, we don't need to mention name, which one works for me in my location, which of the connectivity is better, because I've seen people over and over again lose opportunities in my work. As a global talent consultant, I've matched, candidates, headhunted, done interviews, and when it's time for them to speak with the client, their internet just goes off.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, within Nigeria, I'm able to interview you, maybe because our internet is at the same level. It goes through. But when it's time for you to speak to someone in Poland, for example, your video is not showing, you start cutting off. They don't have the patience to wait for you to fix that.
Because they have several other...
Absolutely, they have
options.
options. And for them, the most important thing is execution. Execution is the name of the game. So even if you pass through the interview, how are you going to do the actual job without internet? So even if you are able to gather yourself the understand during the interview, what is the assurance that the first month, the first 2 months, all through your engagement period, your internet will enable you to do the work? They don't want to waste time and waste resources. So that is a major challenge.
So you need to first make research on the service provider that works in your own local area.
Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about, because we're wrapping up very soon, let's talk about now how to position yourself. Now as a talent, I want to leverage on this opportunity. I want to be a gig worker. I don't want to do the money to night job. I want to go into this properly. Now, how can you as a talent position yourself? How can you make your profile appealing, that will make you unique and outstanding among every other person, that will make you eligible?
Awesome. Well, I think the first is to identify, the skill area, the sector, the category you want to go for. So maybe for you on those score, you just think, you know what, I'm going to be a DevOps engineer, or you want to be a, mobile app engineer. The first is to identify, you have your skills. Identify which of the platform works for you. Platform is the first thing, because there's so many of them. There's so many gig platforms. So which one do I want to position on? So when you identify your platform, you want to create a profile. That's how people find you. And profile includes, your details, your expertise, all of your experiences, all your professionalism. You put all of that together and create a profile, an outstanding profile that speaks to your client. Yes. And so when you're done with your profile as well, you want to have a portfolio of all the projects you've worked on, all the work you've done for people. Maybe you've designed a website. All of this, maybe you're a radio presenter, or all of the gig you've done, the sites or the websites you developed, the standard operating procedures you created, the graphic design, the flyers you designed, the brochure you worked on. You want to put them together. If you don't have a website, you can put them together as a PDF. That's your portfolio. Let it be handy, because that's how to convince people that I've done this before. Even though I'm just getting into the gig economy, it doesn't mean I'm new to this work. I have been doing it in my 9 to 5. Yes. I've been doing it as an independent person, so I can do it for you. Show them the examples. So you start with the platform, you move to your profile, portfolio and project, and then the next thing is also the proposals. That's how you do your cover letter. That's how you apply for these jobs. It's very fundamental that you are able to speak to the job that you're applying for, because these days I see people do copy and paste.
Yes.
You just copy and paste. No, you want to speak to the job that is being applied. If not, they will smell you from afar that you are not ready. So what is worth doing is worth doing well. So you want to speak to that job. And I think finally is to also ask your role, ask your age. And what I mean by that is your pricing. Don't go and charge a 5 years experience when you are just 1 year's experience. You might think you're lucky. It's good. It happens sometimes. But you also want to be able to, avoid the wrong impression, right? Yes. What you're not capable of doing, you're not capable of doing.
You must not charge too low.
Exactly. You also don't want to overshoot yourself. So under promise and over deliver. With that, what you need is to build a clientele base. People like that, when you're just starting, you need something to have in your portfolio to say, you know what, I've done this for this client in Singapore. I've done this for somebody in Poland. With that, it's easy to convince other people. So I think those are the 7 or 6 P's.
Well, I think you already answered advice to the people, because we have to leave this conversation here for now. But just in 1 second, in 1 minute, your parting shot to people out there.
Yes.
Awesome.
And also the platforms.
The platforms.
You don't need to mention it, but how people can actually search for
What
these
to do,
platforms.
yes.
Okay, great. So I think you can go to Google right now and just search freelancing platforms or top 5. I would advise you stick to top 5 freelancing platform or top 2 freelancing platform, global freelancing platform, you know, or top 5 gig economy platforms, right? They are talent platforms that you can position on. You apply, you create an account there, and you can find them online. But, you know, maybe parting words for everyone listening as well would be that, you know, awareness is very critical as you go forward in this journey.
Yes.
You want to ask a lot of questions and do a lot of research. Let awareness be your priority. Let it be your focus. You want to ensure that, you know, you are positioning and right. And when the tough, you know, when the going gets tough, you want to understand the reason why you started in the first place. For you, maybe it's to start diversifying your portfolio. You want to start earning in foreign currencies. Why do you want to earn in the foreign currencies? For you, maybe you don't even have a job at all. You know that, no, I need to position for this. Maybe for you, it's just a multiple source of income. You want to expand your reach. And for you, it's in preparation. Maybe for another person, it's in preparation for JAPA. Whatever your reason is, whatever the purpose of going into this is for you, that is the reason. That is what will keep you going when the going gets tough. So you want to let that be at the forefront of your activities online.
Thank
Must
you
appreciate
so
you for
much.
coming.
Thank you so much for educating us on that. And I believe that our viewers will be so grateful for educating us this morning about the gig economy. Thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you so much. It's such a privilege.
We
to
hope
be
to
here.
receive such opportunities like
More
this.
often, yes.
More of this.
Why not? Thank you.
All right, viewer, thank you so much for being a part of this interview session, and hope you enjoyed every bit of it and you've learned 1 or 2 things. And I'm sure that you are going to tap, even as a talent, you're going to tap into this opportunity. Do not wait for the government to give you that white-collar job. Do not wait for someone to give you a job or something like that. Just make sure if you have a skill you need to do what, just package your portfolio, your profile, and tap into the gig economy. So this is where we wrap up the interview segment. So go for a short break. Thereafter, we'll continue the show. Do stay with us.